Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are talking about Better Call Saul Season 5. Spoiler warning, if you have not seen this show, do not watch this video. If you want to know my thoughts on the show, I've already made a video on Season 1 where I don't spoil anything and give you my brief thoughts. But, you know, alright, we're in Season 5. You know, you've seen this show and you want to know what I think. This show kicked in! This is what I was waiting for! God, it was just, I wanted it a season early, but now it's kicked in from the moment this season started. It didn't stop. And every episode was great. Finally, the identity disorder that this show had with Mike and Saul has just really gone away. These shows have collided. The season starts with Jimmy becoming Saul Goodman, and once that happens, it's like this show has a beating heart. It comes to life, and all of a sudden he is involved with all the cartel and the drug stuff that's been happening on the other half of this show. There's no more identity disorder between Mike and Saul. Their worlds are colliding. So this show can be much more concise, tight. Nothing feels kind of out of place or feels like more set up for things to come. The only thing I could think of that feels like that is everything that's happening with Howard, but I have my own theories on that I'll talk about later. So Saul is mixed up with the Salamancas and is representing Lalo at one point in this season. Wanted to bring this scene up because there's little moments like this throughout the whole season that are fantastic, and I needed to at least give you an example of what type of moments I'm talking about. When he's representing Lalo, he's looking around the court and seeing the people, the families that it's actually affected what Lalo has done, and how Saul has to swallow that and keep representing his client. These little silent moments of reflection just give you so much without saying anything, and that's a real trend in this show. It's a testament to the writing and Bob Odenkirk's acting ability. Speaking of Lalo, he is a huge standout. I mean, what a fantastic villain he has been so far. I love it. He's not stupid and brash. He's very resourceful with whatever problems he's given. And you really see it for the first time in the second to last episode of this season, just how scary he can be by doing nothing. Another welcome surprise is Hank and Gomez. They appear out of nowhere in this season, and they are a very welcome surprise. I love the banter between these two and the conversations they have. It's been something I've sorely missed. Another great moment in this season is Saul busting all this Mesa Verde case wide open with all the fake videos and the projector and just stirring everybody up. I just love it when Saul does the things he does. Mike got a lot to do this season. He wasn't just babysitting a group of minors. He was conflicted about the job, quit the job, was stabbed, taken to one of Gus's retreats, recovers, goes back out and is helping, has the trip with Jimmy out in the Albuquerque desert. He gets a lot to do this season, and it's a welcome change. There was a wedding this season. Kim and Jimmy got married. Huel had some great lines there as well. This season, it had it all. Gus blows up one of his own stores in one of the most badass scenes I think I've ever seen in this universe. I do love Howard's inclusion in this season, although it's a lot of setup for, I think, things that are to come, because he kind of doesn't fit with the show's pacing and everything else that this season was trying to do and tell. He was just there in the background. From prostitutes to bowling balls, it was out there. And I love it when Jimmy loses it and says that he's a god in human clothing that shoots lightning from his fingertips. It was just great. The episode where Jimmy gets stuck out in the desert, I knew he was going to be stranded out there and would have to walk back the moment he started pouring water on his shoes. It was a very clear indicator that, yeah, he's going to be walking home. And I really thought that the car would just crap out. Like, how long could this car keep going before it just gives up? I mean, a couple seasons ago, it was barely starting. But I did not expect the shootout, and man, was it cool. It was so great. It was so refreshing. Because the show has been a lawyer show up until this point, and it's just kind of hitting harder when you're not so desensitized to it. I'm not used to that in the setting of this show. The scene I was referencing earlier where Lalo is interrogating Saul after all this, where he doesn't have to say much other than tell me the story again over and over, had my heart pounding. Now, a little detour before I talk about the finale of this season. There have been black and white scenes throughout this whole show starting every season. I have been seeing them, and I've been enjoying watching Jimmy freak out and have his paranoia in the future. But I just don't feel like I've ever had much to say about those scenes. There's not much I can add to them. But I'm very interested to see where those scenes go and end up by the time we get to the end of the 6th season. So the season ends with this hit being put on Lalo, and it's intense. I love it. I love how cunning Lalo is to outsmart these people and survive, and how they've set up, no, tell your boss that the job was done right for what's to come in Season 6. It's the first time Lalo is not smiling, alright? And he's been scary while he's been smiling all season. Now he isn't. It left me begging to put on Season 6, but I won't touch it until this video is done. Rest in peace to the poor souls who had to wait 2 years for the next season. I cannot believe you had to do that. I'm very excited about what they've set up with Lalo. They've basically just taken the shackles off this man and set him up to rain fire on everyone and everything. And I really hope he creates havoc for everyone in this next season before being killed. I mean, come on, he has to be killed. He doesn't show up in Breaking Bad. He has to die in the next season. I'm just being honest, this is the reality. The real question is, Kim, Howard, what happens to these characters? With Kim and Jimmy, where we leave them, they're going to frame Howard, set him up, destroy his career, and it wouldn't surprise me if they killed Howard. Either he commits suicide because his career's gone to hell, or he somehow gets mixed up in all the Salamanca crap as well because of Jimmy and Kim's involvement with that already. And the way that they just keep bringing Howard back. He doesn't have anything to add this season, but they keep bringing him back. They're gonna do something. They don't just leave things open-ended. So if I gotta make a prediction, I think Howard might bite the dust. Kim, I don't know. I would think they would want to, but there's too much good storytelling you can do there if you kept her alive and had her just not be a part of the events of Breaking Bad. For me, I just can't believe how much the show decided to kick in this season. And I think I've learned something with this show too. It's not a traditional show in the sense where you start a season off, you build up to a high point, give us something satisfying, a cliffhanger, and then bait us to do the same rise every season. Like how Breaking Bad ends. Season 1, spoilers for Breaking Bad by the way, the end of the first season, he has the dispute with Tuco and basically blows up where his base of operations is, or the top floor at least. The second season ends with the plane exploding. There's these high points, but this show almost feels like an experiment in the way that it's this character study, that instead of one jolt like this at a time, if you just slowly tell it the whole way through seasons 1, 2, and 3, make the audience be extremely patient, you can build to a higher point at the end of 6 than you ever could doing these little jumps. Does that make sense to any of you guys out there? That's what I feel like the show is doing. I can't wait. I've put in the time, watched all the seasons, I've enjoyed them as I've gone along, but I am ready for this to go to another level. What did you guys think of season 5? If you've seen it, let me know what you think. Alright, I want to know what you guys were thinking after you finished watching this season. What was the wait like? If you haven't already, consider subscribing, because season 6, I'm going to be talking about it, and you're probably going to want to know what my thoughts are on that if you've watched this all the way through to the end. If you have, and you're still here, you're a bloody legend, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.